Having a bit of difficulty with what was going on around the world today and the prospect of what was going to continue to happen, it didn't leave me in a very positive space. It left me also very confused and feeling powerless, forgetting about who I am, what I am, and what it is I'm supposed to be doing. My message from the universe was very clear. Focus on only the positive. And they began by giving me a list of the benefits for what was going on. And we would like to share those with you. The number one benefit that was shared, it was the top of the list, was that Earth herself is getting a rather large rest from the pollution and destruction human beings have been causing. And connectively, that all the animals have been feeling freer while the human beings are not infringing everywhere over everything. So with respect to the earth herself, especially for those of you who are environmental activists, animal rights activists, and or those of us who are shamans, this brings great relief. In this particular aspect, it's not about connecting into the human consciousness or to humanity and whatever it is that it's thinking or propagating. Now is the time to definitely connect to the earth. She is breathing better. She is feeling better. And so are all the, I'll say, sentient beings that came from her creation. So are all the things that come from her creation. This will include trees, plants, the waters, the animals, the environment. And so when I was told that information, it helped me to relax a bit more. The other area is where humans would have populated by now or infringed upon. And because for some of us, this has been going on, it's longer than a month. For some, it's been going on for 2 months. And depending on where you are, 3 months. It's a very long time. Areas have been left to recover. Areas that ordinarily would have been, for lack of a better way to describe it, beaten down by humans having encroached upon it or humans having been there, or industry having been there. And we've been able to witness this, actually witness this ourselves with our very own eyes, how quickly the earth can recover when given the opportunity. It's not just fascinating, it's awe-inspiring. So for those of us who know that the earth is fine and she'll always be fine, she has ways of taking care of herself. But for those who have feared for the earth and helping her and her being healthy and how is she going to go forward? How will she sustain? Well, we've just been a part of a great witness, a great observation of how quickly she can begin to turn herself into a place of health again. That's a very positive thing. We would also like to add that it was shared with us, human beings can do the same thing with themselves. So the earth needed a rest from this. It needed a rest from the humans being there. But it was shared with me that just like as human beings can change drastically from a huge change in not just their thought processes, their conscious thinking, being positive, relieving stress, alleviating stress, also the ratifying their diet, and how it's been able to ignite what seems like spontaneous healing. In some cases, it is spontaneous healing, and in other cases, it is literally curing diseases. Within 3 months, we have a great many doctors and scientists who have proven this and who have shared that data. So we're being privileged in this moment to witness the ability that all of us have to heal, all of us have to improve, all of us have to bring more value. We're witnessing this here on earth. We're also being able to understand and feel. I am personally feeling this, and I had to be reminded of it because in the beginning I was very grateful for this, but after the third week I started to get a bit restless, and that was, you're getting a rest. There is a very large percentage of the population who is no longer in the workforce, and they are being forced to stay at home out of and the word used was rat race. And or they're out of that particular type of condition, that particular type of, some felt enslavement, and everyone's getting a rest. A popular term that was coined was a staycation, which means you're getting a vacation, but you're staying at home for it. Now, yes, it's true. Perhaps on a regular staycation, you would go out and, see friends more. The opportunity here is more of an inward journey to take time to begin some personal practices, which obviously we have. However, we were strongly guided into an entirely new regiment for ourselves last fall, and the universe came in and was very forceful in December to make sure we got started. And now I'm extremely grateful that it was, because who would have thought I would need it so desperately? Who would have thought that all these things that were about to happen? I saw massive things occurring on particular timelines. I would have never predicted this. The reason for that being, I suppose, I would have never wanted to have accepted it. But yet here we are. So we are being given a fantastic opportunity to do some personal work. Again, meditation, yoga, qigong, get creative in your house, start creating projects. Take this opportunity if you're inspired to write a book, create a memoir, a diary. If there's projects inside of your house that you wanted to get done but you never had the time before, decluttering. We're getting prepared for a move, and after this initial move, it'll be a big move. And there's a lot of work that we had to do in our house, and we just didn't have the time. All of a sudden now we have the time. Our house is getting organized. Things are getting done. We're also really enjoying the fact that our body has had the opportunity to rest and recover from working it so hard. We're thoroughly enjoying the fact that we now have time for all of our personal practices. If we want to spend 2 hours a day, which was what was recommended, 2 hours a day in our personal practices, connection, taking care of ourselves on deep spiritual levels, which then flow out for the physical body, the mental and the emotional well-being, your conscious creation. We now have all that time. Maybe sometimes we'll do more then. We'll be inspired to do more, providing that we don't distract ourselves too much with the internet. So as the huge percentage of the population is being forced to stay at home, so many businesses have closed. Governments are changing, economies collapsing, going into a recession. It's also giving us an opportunity, as this has gone on for the 1, 2, 3 months, but the fact that it's being talked about that this will go on for about 6 months. 6 months is a long time, people. However, it's nothing. Remember, time is an illusion. If this goes on for 6 months, everyone who has brought feedback has said the economy can't sustain this for 6 months. People can't sustain this for 6 months. We'll lose our homes, we'll lose our jobs. It changes everything. That's definitely true in many cases. If you live in a country like Canada, which I'm living in right now, the government has made it possible for those of us who became unemployed due to this, that we can pay for our rent. It's not going to be a problem. We won't lose the roof over our head. And that we'll have money for groceries. So these sorts of things are beneficial for, depending on the country you're in. I happen to have friends who live in another country where there is no assistance, there is no help for the people at all. Well, so many of them are being forced to stay at home, which means if you don't have a savings account set up, that's a problem. And a lot of people are worried about that. The big industries, so many things being shut down, so many things changing, so many dynamics of life and how we have been living have all of a sudden come to a grinding halt. We're able now to sit back and look at this, reflect that, well, hi, if we've been shut down like this for how many months it'll go on for, it's going to change how we have been living and thinking isn't necessary. And the proof will then become in the outcome of our lives for however many months this happens for. A lot of people talk about we can't have, this is an example, that we can't change how we use resources, that we cannot switch from solar, wind, hydro types of powers from the fossil fuels, because it would collapse our economy. It would be too hard for us to change everything over. Understanding in history and time, every time something new has been created or presented, there had to be this transitional change, which would have been difficult at first and then accustomed. And then, well, quite frankly, we grew from it. Steam engine would be one of those examples. So it doesn't matter in what year we're talking about. We have the ability to change. Do you think modern technology, with how it offered change, do you think when airplanes began, when regular commercial travel began, when things became more affordable, how we have shifted, how many times, how we've lived, the things that were acceptable, the things that were possible. Think back to even just the 1970s. One person in a household could go to work and support an entire family. And that includes buying a house, paying into a mortgage, and having a few children with a stay-at-home mom in most cases, and to be able to afford everything. That is not possible today unless that person earns quite a decent six-figure salary. We have grown accustomed to how many things have changed on us, and we've readjusted. Well, we can do that again. And we're just getting a reflection of that. How we have been living is not necessary, and that there can be some changes and some improvements to how society as a whole functions. But that perhaps we needed the opportunity to take a moment, pause, and to observe that. And then to come back from this and to choose a better way to live, a different way to live that is hopefully better. And for everything not to go back to how it was before. We are not focusing on the contradictory arguments because we can have many of those, but that's not divine spirit. That's me. And this is literally just a focus on the positive of what's occurring today. We may turn around. This is just simply because this is what the universe wants us to focus on right now. Focus on only the positive, focus on ourselves, focus on and holding the positive feelings, the positive energy, the positive conscious creation, the positive connection, the positivity of any outcome. We may have to sit down, however, and also have a conversation with the universe regarding the things that we perhaps do fear, the things that make us nervous, and perhaps that should be saved for next time. We thank you for joining us. And again, as always, may the blessings of the light be yours.